Welcome to the Abacus app tutorial. We are going to demo kind of the play pattern on one of our apps. All of the Professor Maxwell items with Abacus brands work the same way. You need an app, you point it at the book, and crazy magical stuff happens. So we're going to show you the Professor Maxwell's VR Science Lab, one of my favorite products, and here's how it works. So let's get started. Now, whether you have the VR Universe or the Magic or Master Chef or any one of the Abacus items, they all begin with a quick start guide. So as you open the book, you're going to find a really quick getting started tutorial here. Now, in step one, we do suggest that you download what we call our Abacus HQ parent portal. Now, this is a free app. It gives you a little bit of insight on your child's progress. It tells you what projects they're doing the most, which projects they're avoiding, a little bit of intel and insight on their behaviors and their likes and dislikes. So really cool. If you download the Abacus HQ parent portal, now I've already got this downloaded, so I'm going to hit open. And now you can register here for an account. Of course, it's free, or it is an optional app. You can skip this and bypass this process entirely. If you were to bypass or register, you would come to this window here, and this is a menu of all of the Abacus brands items, in which case you would then find the app that is corresponding to the toy that you have purchased and download that specific app. Now, this is the VR Science Lab. I'm going to go find the VR Science Lab item right here. And this is going to point me basically as a little shortcut right to the Apple App Store here and allow me to download and install this specific app. As a shortcut in step two, if you were to jump to step two, you can bypass the Abacus HQ parent portal. If you did not want any reporting, if you did not care about any of the data on what your child's doing or what the progress is or which apps they've done or which items or which projects and experiments that they're most interested in, you can just jump to step two here in the book and download, as we've said here, the VR Science Lab app. Again, keep in mind, the VR Universe toy, the Magic toy, Master Chef, all of the other items will require their own apps. And again, you can follow the menu system here inside the Abacus HQ parent portal if you're going to link them together to get the reporting, or just go straight to the App Store and type in VR Science Lab for this toy, or VR Universe, or VR Magic, or any one of the other toys. In this specific case, we are going to look at the Abacus brands Professor Maxwell's VR Science Lab, and hit install to get started. Now here I've got the VR Science Lab app installed. I'm going to launch the app. There's a little tutorial video here. I can bypass that. It's just a little intro screen, and we're going to get to our home screen and welcome screen. Now, if you did already download in step one the parent portal app, you can hit parent login. This will allow you to type in the same credentials that you registered, and that is what's going to link this app, being the Science Lab app, with the parent portal HQ, and that's how they talk to each other and send you back some notes on your child's activity and which projects they're into. If you didn't, no big deal, you've skipped that process, and this is the app that you require to run the actual toy, being the VR Science Lab. So go ahead and push start to get started. You're going to have a couple options here. Now, the handheld mode is something we require and suggest for full screen detail. If you're going to see a project or an experiment done, there's some step-by-step instructions that take place in the book that you're going to want to see in full screen. You can, of course, just pop on the goggles and go to goggle mode. It'll be split screen, meaning you're going to put these goggles on, and the entire time you're going to be in virtual reality and doing everything in VR mode. What we suggest is the hybrid mode. Go into auto. This will allow us to serve you the best option. If it's a step-by-step project, we're going to give it to you as a full screen, so you can kind of see the detail in full screen. Or if it's a VR project, we're going to show it to you in split screen and ask you to put on the goggles. Now, so as you can see, I've made a choice, and whether you choose handheld, goggle mode, or auto, it's going to launch your camera. Now, a lot of people think that they're waiting for the camera to do something, they're waiting for something to happen, and what it's waiting for is for you to choose which project or experiment in the book that you want to activate. So, all you have to do is turn to any of the activities in the book. Professor Maxwell will come out and introduce the subject matter. It's important for the app to see both left and right pages. That's how the app identifies what page you're on, and that's how it knows what content to load. Now, there's a little blue dot here in the center of the page, center of the screen, sorry, and that is your reticle. So you can point that at any one of these yellow hotspots, and that'll turn into a video right there on the book to show you step-by-step instructions. Now notice how I've chosen the auto mode, and it's chosen to give me a full screen version of these step-by-step instructions. But what happens when I look at this red one here? That's a VR hotspot. That will trigger the VR wormhole, as we call it. And from there, it will split the screen and ask you to put on the goggles. So from there, you want to pop the goggles into here. And now you're going into an immersive environment in virtual reality. Adjust the eye toggles, and you're off to the races. A thing to point out, this particular app for VR Science Lab does require 1 gigabyte of space. Now, if you only have 1 gig of space left on your entire phone, we do recommend you turn or delete some of the other apps that you're not using, just because if this is the last gig and that's all you're using to optimize or power the app, it will be a little slow and wonky. So please make a little bit more room than what's suggested to actually download the app. The other thing is, if you're getting a black screen or if you're getting some kind of freezing or anything that's causing the app to not perform really well, once the camera loads, if you're getting anything weird happening here, make sure you shut down the app and then go to existing other apps running in the background or that are multitasking and just shut everything else off. Make sure that you're giving our app priority, and then even then turn our app off and completely start over again and get this app reinstalled or reactivated, and make sure it's the only app running to give it optimal power and optimal space to operate.